Continuity, yay! The Nintendo Switch. Yes, I have one. Yes, it's great. It's not a revolution, but you know what? That's great too. Nintendo has chased revolutions for years, even before the Wii, codenamed Revolution, actually succeeded beyond all expectations for a time and really showed the world what motion-based gameplay, even, let's face it, bad motion-based gameplay, had to offer gaming as a whole. Compared to the DS and Wii lines, the Switch practically marks a return to glorious convention for the house Miyamoto built, which should go a long way to endear them to third parties, an obvious primary objective for incoming CEO Tatsumi Kimishima. Yet it still stands for something, and that something is potentially worth far more than any attempt to overhaul the gaming landscape that they could have made in the Switch's place. For years, there has been a deep but utterly pointless line drawn between what a console game is supposed to be and, in comparison, what a handheld game is supposed to be. And for the most part, Nintendo have been true believers in that line right up until the Switch's unveiling. And that's why proper in-series Pokemon titles and JRPGs have struggled to find a home on Wii hardware, and when the line does get breached, making it happen was like pulling teeth. That's also why 2D and 3D Zelda games, give or take a pair of N64 remakes, have been largely a console versus handheld segregation. Much of the industry still can't process the fact that people might want to play those types of games on the hardware they've mostly been kept away from. On the other end of the equation, you have Sony. The PSP landed over a decade ago as a bludgeon against this mentality, first by shoring up on console quality and, more importantly, console-style titles right out of the gate, then went all in with the PSP's very first hardware revision by adding a video output port, allowing it to be played on TV. The PlayStation Vita followed a similar trajectory, introducing itself to the world as a handheld that played console-quality, console-style games, and then flipped the script with a disgustingly underappreciated, consoleized version of the device in the PlayStation TV, which I should add is responsible for all of these 720p Ridge Racer 2 videos I have here on my channel. Sony has been attacking the barrier between console gaming and handheld gaming for years, but their approach has been different because they've been attacking it from the handheld side. What makes Nintendo's approach unique is that they're attacking it from the console side. If you aren't yet sold on the idea that the Switch is a console first and a portable second, you simply haven't yet assembled one, because the moment you connect the Joy-Cons to the sides of the core Switch unit is the moment you realize once and for all that this is the successor to the Wii U, not to the 3DS. Anyone sending their 9-year-old to school with one of these in their backpack for recess is a complete and utter lunatic, while it's merely of debatable sanity to do so with the 3DS. The underlying idea of Nintendo's model and Sony's remains the same. It's 2017, so why should the medium on which you choose to play your games dictate the types of games you have available? You have every right to enjoy hardcore racing sims on the go, just the same way you have every right to enjoy classical JRPGs that have long since stopped challenging console hardware to any meaningful degree on the 60-inch TV in your living room. Square Enix producer Tomoya Asano recently expressed his desire to see Bravely Default make an appearance on consoles, a notion disregarded out of hand by some who consider its Final Fantasy IX reminiscent visual style and even more old-school, strict turn-based approach to gameplay too archaic for such a move. It may be too early to say for certain whether he'll get what he wants or not, as he's currently busy on another title, tentatively titled Project Octopath Traveler. However, that very project and its presence on the Switch bodes well for Bravely Default's console prospects as we move forward. That's also a lot better than Project Octopath Traveler itself being doomed to languish on a pair of 4-inch screens in your pocket. It's not much of a stretch to attribute the preferable outcome to the Switch's design concept, and if that leads to even more of this, so much the better, and it's certainly looking that way with an upcoming Fire Emblem title also on its way to the Switch. That's also a two-way street, mind you. Anyone who finds it an insulting notion that a game like Skyrim is too massive or involved to be enjoyed on the go will soon have a Switch port to hang their hats on, and hopefully it opens the floodgates for other games across the industry to make the same leap. I for one would love the opportunity to take EA Sports NHL or a frame-perfect version of Virtua Fighter 5 Final Showdown with me outside the apartment. Time will tell if that's what the future holds, but it's a future of real meaningful change to gaming being made possible by the collective efforts of Sony and Nintendo. Compared to the Wii's legacy just 5 years after the fact, that's incredibly promising. A revolution? I already have 2 of those gathering dust in my closet. I really don't need another one.